Yo, what is going on, dudes? Welcome to the video. Today we are talking about the top 5 controller players of 2020. This list was really difficult to put together. Honestly, like, a lot of players could have swapped in and out of this list, so we're gonna have an honorable mentions list as well. And please let me know what your personal top 5 controller players of 2020 were. I'm gonna be making this list based purely off of competitive and the content they make and how creative overall they are as a player and how successful they are in the competitive Fortnite scene. This list was really hard to make, but feel free to let me know in the comments what your top 5 controller players were. I'm sure there may be some players I missed out on or forgot about or just absolutely airballed on, so let me know who your favorite 5 controller players were. I'd love to also shout out some people who should have been on this list as well, maybe in a future video, so let me know. Without further ado, let's get into our top 5 controller players of 2020. So coming in at number 5 on our list is the big FaZe Sway. Now, this guy's been an absolute GOAT in the controller community for such a long time. He's honestly one of my favorite controller players to watch. I'm gonna be honest, he's probably my favorite controller player to watch ever since Fortnite really started popping off. I found FaZe Sway at like 100K subscribers, been watching him ever since. He's an absolute GOAT. The only reason I have not ranked him higher on this list is because he does not really pursue comp in the slightest. I think he did like one Fortnite tournament in 2019 in a cash cup and won like 3K. And I think aside from like Friday Fortnite tournaments, that's about as far as his earnings go. But honestly, I do not blame him in the slightest for doing comp, because I know the amount that he absolutely pops off when it comes to creating content on this game. Epic does not give big enough cash prizes for it to be worth him to not just be constantly posting bangers on YouTube. But it's for that reason that I feel like I can't really rank Sway higher, just because I have not really seen his full potential from a competitive standpoint. But no doubt, I think if Sway actually did take competitive seriously, he would absolutely dominate the tournaments. And like I said, I think he played like one cash cup and won it in 2019, despite like not really doing a whole lot of scrimming at the time. He's just naturally so gifted at this game. It's unbelievable. Coming in at number 4 on our list is G2 Leche. He was actually with Atlantis up until this year. Now, Leche is the prime example of having insane gameplay sense and controller aim. He's an absolute aiming god. He is dominant in the scene. He's been dominant for so long. In 2020, he won $57,168 playing Fortnite competitive. Across his entire career, he's won $135,928 from Fortnite tournaments. He's a World Cup quality player, so good in this game. But one thing that I love about Leche is not only is he just an absolute controller monster, but he also is a content monster. He has really consistent YouTube uploads, is one of the few competitive players who streams really regularly. Almost every single day Leche streams. So if you follow him as a controller player, you can learn so much because he's constantly learning and updating and changing his gameplay based on the meta that's in the game. And he's such a joy to watch for that reason. And he's definitely the reason he makes our list, coming in at number 4 with his insane controller skills. Now, the next player on our list, coming in at number 3, is the big Assault. He's been in the controller scene for a long time. He's been big on YouTube, big on Twitch for such a long time. But I love Assault right now because he actually came back to rep the console scene this year in 2020. Instead of just sticking on controller or on PC, which is what he blew up on, he made the bold move to go back to play on console. And it was so beneficial to have done this. He actually popped off in console FNCS this year, winning it with his team and pushing his total controller Fortnite earnings to $84,575 in Fortnite, and $65,000 of that was earned in 2020, making his 2020 year absolutely incredible. Assault has been dominant at like maintaining amazing control of his fights. He has incredible game sense. He absolutely pops off in competitive. He's like, he literally has just nerves of steel. It's such a joy to watch him play. If you watch him on stream, you can see that his consistency is at like astronomical levels. He's one of the most consistent controller players I've ever watched, and you can see it in his controller earnings. He's absolutely a dope dude. Love to see it. Assault coming in at number 3 on our best controller players of 2020. Now, before we get into our top 2 controller players of 2020, I wanted to throw out some honorable mentions to some incredible controller players who I expect to have even better 2021s and are just absolutely dominant in the scene this year. One of these honorable mentions right now on the screen is Day. Now, this is a teammate of Reet, who is also another controller player who's been absolutely dominant this year. Day is incredible. He's got some of the most perfect piece control I've ever seen, and he also competed in the Fortnite Championship Series on PC and won it with his trio. He's absolutely insane, and I only expect bigger and better things from him in 2021. And honestly, depending on who you asked, he definitely could have made this list. Now, another amazing controller player who was amazing to watch, one of the piece control goats like that we saw in 2020 just absolutely come out of nowhere to dominate, is Hugh Fishy. This is a young gun, and he absolutely dominated this year. He has $18,000 in earnings, and some of his highlight videos are absolutely insane. I love to watch this guy in the tube, and I expect him to have even more earnings, even more dubs, even more subs going into 2021. This guy is a joy to watch, and I love to see it, dude. He's absolutely dominant, and just goes to show how good and how deep the controller scene is in Fortnite. Our last honorable mention of this video before we get into our final 2 controller players is Drops. And this guy plays for KNG. He was in the console FNCS Grand Finals. He is insanely skilled. He's a great comp player, and he absolutely dominates on next-gen hardware. I had to give a big shout-out to him. I've watched a bunch of his videos. I love watching this dude. I think he's a great representation of some of the maximum skill you can achieve while dealing with the controller delay on console. He plays on the PS5 now. He's absolutely insane, and I feel like we're going to see even more of this guy as PS5 gameplay gets even more popular on YouTube. I think this guy is going to explode with his PS5 gameplay. Just look how crisp and creamy this gameplay looks using the new PS5 software, and I feel like Drops is taking advantage of that to absolutely bring us some of the best looking controller gameplay you'll see right now on YouTube. Look at this dude. He's absolutely nuts, and not aside from just the fact that he's a content god, he also is just killing it in the Fortnite competitive scene. You love to see it. And yeah, I'm just really stoked for Drops. I think it's really dope that somebody's able to still play on console and do this good and still absolutely rep the scene. You know, you love to see it. But we're going to get into our final 2 players on our top 5 list of controller players that dominated Fortnite in 2020. If you guys think somebody else deserves an honorable mention, please let me know down in the YouTube comments. I'll probably check them out for a future reaction video. If so, thank you guys so much. And let's get into our top 2 controller players, baby. Coming in at number 2 on our list is an absolute 200 IQ god of controller, and that is Coop, who just got signed just like Leche to G2. I really feel like G2 is going to try to take over the scene on controller based on some of the recent signings, because both Leche and Coop are absolutely insanely skilled. Coop has some of the cleanest gameplay I've seen on controller. He makes some of the smartest plays. He's such a dope dude to watch, and I really feel like he deserves top 2 for our controller players of 2020. He has $53,000, $934 earned in 2020, and he got first place in Chapter 2, Season 3 of Fortnite for the Championship Series. He's so good, and he actually collected a $50,000 bag for that clutch up. He's so good at this game, and I really enjoy watching him. Again, he makes incredibly smart decisions. So if you're trying to figure out the next meta for Fortnite, the best way you can approach your fights, your build fights, I think Coop is such a good dude to watch for that. I think he's so dominant, and he plays and predicts his opponents so well, which is incredibly relevant when you're playing competitive now in this game. It's all about player prediction, way more so than just like pure mechanical skill, which Coop, to be fair, has a lot of as well. His mechanics are insane, but his predictions, in my opinion, are what make him so good and so dominant when it comes to Fortnite competitive. Now, our number 1 player on our list of top controller players of 2020 is a player who's just dominating the scene right now, showing what it means to be a top controller player blowing up, showcasing the meta, dominating with his aim, and doing all of that from the young age of 14 is the big Reet, who just has been dominating the scene on controller. He's blowing up on YouTube. He's blowing up in controller tournaments. He's absolutely insane right now on the sticks, and that is the big Reet. He has $24,000 earned in 2020, and he's just an absolute shining example of what it is to dominate on controller while taking advantage of insane piece control mechanics. And the one thing that makes him also so unique from other controller players on this list is that he does all of this on fairly high ping. He's not a perfect 0 ping player. So what he has to do in order to dominate is to be able to predict players like nothing you've ever seen, and to use defensive piece control and piece control to his advantage to just absolutely outsmart the other players time after time after time. It's so crazy to watch him because it's like every single decision he makes is the smartest possible decision you can make in that moment. It's actually kind of mind-blowing. Watching Reet is just like watching like Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla if they decided to like play Fortnite instead of discovering electricity or some shit. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today, and I hope you guys had as good of a 2020 as possible. If you guys disagree with this list, you think the list should be switched around in order, or take some players out and put different players in, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. I'd also love to hear about underrated controller players who you thought were overlooked in 2020, because I might like to check those guys out for a video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, you can drop a like on the video, hit that sub if you guys are new, and just have a great day and have a great holiday. Thank you guys so much for supporting me this year. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.